Hi everyone. Today I want to take you on a little tour of a place that's very close to my heart, my father's library at our home in Berhampur. This is my father's treasure trove, his priceless collection of books that we have maintained in this cozy little space. This incredible collection of books profoundly influenced my formative years, and it continues to inspire me even today. And the passion has been alive. One may say this room full of books, it's not just a library, it's a legacy, a treasure trove of wisdom, stories, and ideas that shaped my father's world and continues to shape our thoughts, the way we look at the world. Collecting books has been my father's lifelong passion, something he lovingly built over decades. I would always treasure this treasure that I have been entrusted with. This is a picture of my father, resting in peace in his heavenly abode ever since he passed away in 2009. But his legacy lives on through these books and the quest for knowledge that he had passed on to us. It is notable that despite being a man of literature, my father had a curiosity that extended far beyond into the realm of geopolitics, history, philosophy, religion, mythology, and scientific enterprise. Now let me take you on a book tour and explore this wonderful collection. Are you ready for this book tour? So let's start this book tour. One can only marvel at this collection. Here we have a book, The Best Laid Plans by Sidney Sheldon, one of the most popular fiction writers of our time. And then we have Amrita Pritam's Revenue Stamp. You know Amrita Pritam, one of the India's pioneering women essayists, poets, and novelists. And this book, A Revenue Stamp, is actually an English translation of the original book written in Punjabi, and it focuses on her life, her love, her relationships, and her literary journey, the experiences. She was quite a rebel in her days, in and after the time of India's partition, and after that she was a prominent and continues to remain one of the most prominent Indian women writers. Now, as we continue, let's have a look at the books on history and geopolitics. Now, here is a book on Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle is often called as in French. He was a notable French general who became the president of France after World War II, and a very interesting personality in those days of World War II. And next, in and around, I can see books on Karl Marx. It's an autobiography of Karl Marx and an autobiography of Friedrich Engels. These two key figures in the development of communist ideology before the establishment of communist regimes in Russia and China. Now, as I move around, we can spot a book on Rajneesh even. And very next to the one on Karl Marx, we also have a book titled Introduction to the Constitution of India. So as you can see, there are all sorts of political thoughts that have taken space on these shelves. Now, what is this one? Let me see. It's Alexander Solzhenitsyn's. Am I spelling it right? Alexander Solzhenitsyn's, August 1914. Now, Alexander Solzhenitsyn was a 20th century Russian writer, a dissident, and he even won a Nobel Prize for Literature, actually, for his masterpiece, The Gulag Archipelago. He was imprisoned in Gulag Archipelago for a few years. He was in prison for almost 10 years, I think. And there you have Shakespeare's Hamlet. Shakespeare. I mean, one of the greatest, perhaps the greatest perhaps the greatest writer of all time, of English writer. Now, here we have another marvelous classic, The Divine Comedy by Dante, one of the most critically lauded works of Renaissance literature when Europe was coming out of the dark Middle Ages. Now, what else can I show you? Here is a book. Look at this. We have Muhammad Ali's autobiography. Muhammad Ali, one of the most famous boxers, heavyweight boxers of the world. He was a black African American, and he was one of the earliest proponents of giving blacks their identity in the United States of America. And here is a book on autobiography, My Days, from that of R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan and R.K. Laxman are two brothers, or the two prominent figures of India, one in field of cartoons and one is a great writer. So these are two interesting autobiographies from two distinctly different backgrounds, from wildly different worlds, yet both deeply influential in their own right. So as I said, this book of library, this book collection is not so properly arranged because of paucity of time. So you will get the starkly diverse books next to one another. Now, mastering language and linguistic skills was central to my father's world. These shelves are filled with dictionaries, including Concise Oxford English Dictionary, Collins Dictionary, a dictionary of phrasal verbs, multiple thesauruses. Thesauruses are sort of not exactly dictionaries, but some sort of dictionaries where you will get one word and similar meaningful words in English language. And there are books on phrasal verbs. Now, when me and my brother joined medical school, or rather medical college, our books quickly became a part of this collection. Physiology, anatomy, ENT, pediatrics, medicine, etc., etc. We used to read a lot of books in medical school as well. So now and then you will see medical books in these collections. Now, if I take a look at books on mythology and religion, this collection also includes rare titles of books in Hindi and Sanskrit, books on mythology. We have 20 versions of Bhagavad Gita from various publishers, from various different writers and their own interpretations. We have books here we have a book on Rajneesh and his philosophy. And there is My Traitor's Heart by Rian Malan, a South African author. Oh, let's take a look here. We have Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, famous for its iconic opening line. Can you guess what it was? Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Well, let me open the pages and check it again. Yes, happy families are all alike and every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Now, despite its grim tone, the book remains one of the classics and most popular classics still today. Now, moving ahead, as I go on and on, this collection is deeply personal, as you can see. Every visit to home brings back a wave of nostalgia. Now, as I take you to the other room, I can see some encyclopedias. Now, just like dictionaries, we had plenty of encyclopedias too. There was no Wikipedia actually in those days, no Google, no internet, so one could take a special pride in one's collection of encyclopedias. Have you ever heard of Encyclopedia Britannica? Well, more on that later. Now, here is a book by J. Krishnamurti. J. Krishnamurti is regarded as one of the most significant voices of our times, one who had the most profound impact on human consciousness. And then we have books from Western philosophers like Bertrand Russell. There are a few books by Will Durant as well. I can't point out those here. There is another biography on Indira Gandhi. And here is a book of lists. We used to look up to books for a book of lists as well. Those are pre-internet days, as I have stated. Now, here is another classic, 100 Years of Solitude. Now, published sometime, I think, around the 1960s or 70s. And this book is written by one of the most famous French authors, Gabriel García Márquez. It blends realistic events with magical realism. Why I can recollect so clearly is because Netflix has recently adapted this book into a series. So this novel explores themes like uh, uh, love, loss, solitude, and human condition. I'm kind of trying to watch the entire series. Maybe if time permits, I'll review the book and the series both. Now, coming back home, we have Indian classics such as Ramcharitmanas, Ramayan, Yoga Vasista. These books are there available in English, in Sanskrit, in Hindi. Now, here is especially a collection in Sanskrit. These verses are written in Sanskrit. The explanations are mostly written in Hindi for an easier understanding. No matter what people claim, not many people in this country are well versed with understanding Sanskrit. We take pride in Sanskrit, but we are yet to understand and speak or develop the ability to speak Sanskrit in everyday life. But the verses are in Sanskrit, and for an easy understanding, the explanations are in Hindi. That's how we read Sanskrit on our school days, actually. Uh, Now, numerous books on Ramayana are there in this library. Numerous books on Ramayana, numerous books on Mahabharata from different publications, different authors, and even in different languages. And here is a book on Indian philosophy by Dr. Radhakrishnan. Now, as I said, here and there you will find medical textbooks. The whole entire medical curriculum was extensive. We had to read extensive volume books and rigorous coursework in medical education that was so exhaustive that we had little time for this reading. Yet I would sneak in as often as possible and try to find out time for these classics out of my exhaustive and extremely difficult medical schedule. Nevertheless, I try to juggle in between these two worlds even today. Now, here is another classic, Paradise Lost by John Milton, and some other books like W.B. Yeats' poems. Now, coming to another section, here we have some interesting collections on mythology and religion, among others. This section actually includes books from different religions, books on different religions, a lot of books on mythology. There were, as I just stated, multiple copies of Bhagavad Gita, but we also had books on multiple other religions. Now, this reading of different books, different mythologies, different philosophies from different languages and different kinds of thoughts, different thought processes actually helped me see life from a wider and more open perspective. These stories taught me that despite our differences, people everywhere share common hopes, fears, and values. They also kind of help me move beyond the narrow religious thinking and be more accepting towards other beliefs. In a time when the world feels divided, these teachings remind me of the importance of kindness, understanding, and seeing others as a part of one large human family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, isn't that what we keep calling? Now, this collection of books is deeply personal. I cannot go on like that because I know the video is getting quite long, and I'll come back to it later on. So, as you can see, this is just more than just a collection of books. It's my father's intellect, his curiosity, his dreams, all neatly preserved on these humble wooden shelves. And it's a treasure, it's a legacy for us. Because in a world that's constantly changing, it's comforting to come back to something that never changes. Thank you for watching. Thank you. I'll come back again. Thank you.